Unlawful presence is the period when a person is in the United States without legal authorization to remain. It begins when the boundaries of lawful stay are crossed. One way this happens is when a period of authorized stay expires. A visa holder, for example, may be admitted until a specific date recorded on Form 194. If that date passes and the person remains, unlawful presence begins to accrue starting the very next day. Another way is through entry without inspection. Someone who crosses the border without being formally admitted or paroled is considered unlawfully present from the first day they set foot in the United States. A third way is through a violation of status. Immigration law requires that non-immigrants comply with the conditions of their admission. A student must remain in full-time study. A worker must stay within the bounds of their authorized employment. A visitor must not work at all. If these conditions are broken, say by unauthorized employment or by failing to continue study, unlawful presence begins the day after the violation occurs. Now, there is a notable exception for people who are admitted for what's called duration of status. Many students, like those on F1 visas, exchange visitors on J1 visas, and certain trainees with M1 status are actually admitted not until a fixed date, but for as long as they continue in their approved program. In these cases, unlawful presence doesn't automatically begin if a program is abandoned or a rule is broken. Instead, time only starts to count as unlawful presence once an immigration officer or immigration judge makes a formal finding of the violation. Not all time spent in the United States is measured as unlawful presence. For example, time before a person turns 18 does not accrue, even if the child overstays or entered without inspection. Also, when an application for asylum is pending, the law actually pauses the clock and doesn't count those days against the applicant. The same thing applies for an application to adjust status to lawful permanent residency. As long as a bona fide application remains pending, unlawful presence does not accrue. And in addition, specific humanitarian protections, like the Violence Against Women Act, trafficking protections, or the Family Unity Program, may shield individuals from accruing unlawful presence while they're under that protection. The consequences of unlawful presence are, well, pretty severe. If a person accrues more than 180 days, but less than 1 year of unlawful presence, then departs the United States, the law imposes a 3-year bar to lawful re-entry. If a person accrues 1 year or more in a single stay and departs, the bar extends to 10 years. If a person accrues more than a year in total, then leaves, and later attempts to re-enter the United States without inspection, the result is a permanent bar, which makes them indefinitely inadmissible except in rare cases of relief. Thus, unlawful presence functions as a clock. It begins to run when permission lapses, it pauses under specific exceptions, and it accumulates toward thresholds that trigger statutory bars. It is central to the structure of immigration law because it ties together the rule of lawful admission, the action of remaining or violating status, and the consequence of inadmissibility for years or even permanently.